multi-talented Dalila Salgueiro. Dalila is a leading journalist, a PR director, and after working for London's top PR agencies and brands, including Lancome and Unilever Personal Care, Dalila founded Retrograde PR, an agency specialising in the travel, beauty, and wellness industries, and has recently launched several brands into the UK's biggest retailers, including Superdrug, Tesco, and Boots nationwide. But in addition to being a PR guru, Dalila is also a certified astrologer, manifesting coach, tech entrepreneur, and founder of the Manifesting app, a platform that combines the principles of positive psychology and astrology to elevate app users' vibrations and help them to manifest their desired life. In this episode, Dalila shows off her talents by giving me an extensive astrology reading and explores my talents, fears, shadows, purpose, and the energy that I carry with me. We also have conversations about manifesting, meditating, the power of journaling, and she shares how she has founded two very successful companies. It's wonderful to have you here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me today.
The pleasure is all mine, honestly. So I thought that we could kick off the interview. If you could tell me that you're an astrologer and manifesting coach without telling me that you're an astrologer and manifesting coach.
Well, I will always say that my name is Dalila. My sun is in Cancer, my ascendant is in Virgo, and my moon is in Sagittarius. And one of my quotes is that the universe will always provide.
Excellent. I was wondering if you could show us exactly what astrology reading is for those not too sure, by giving me an astrology reading.
Yeah, of course. So basically, what I do I studied psychology at university, and I also did journalism. But then I realized that for like people like us, like young entrepreneurs, etc., sometimes you need to have that extra motivation. And like coming from South America, I'm originally from Venezuela, we are so connected with astrology. We are so connected with nature for every aspect of our life. So, for example, if you want to buy a house, or you want to start a new job, or even like a relationship, etc., we make sure that we do it at the right time astrologically. Because, like, for example, when Mercury is retrograde, it's not a good time for like traveling. It's not a good time for like signing contracts. It's not a good time to buying a house, etc. So what we try to do is that we check the planets, the transitions, etc., and then combine it to our day to day. So what I do in my consultations, I combine the principles of like positive psychology with the principles of astrology to check your natal chart. And some of you might be thinking, okay, what is a natal chart? So a natal chart is almost like an X-ray of the sky at the time that you were born. And it's very interesting because nobody else will have the same natal chart that you have. So that makes it like very unique and very like personalized to yourself. So even though you're like, when you read like a horoscope, you only check like your sun sign, like you need to check the whole spectrum to be able to kind of like put yourself like your personality. And for example, some people might have like their sun sign in like, for example, like Leo, and then their ascendant in another sign like Cancer. So sometimes your sun qualities are the ones that you are born with, and your ascendant, for example, are qualities that you need to develop throughout the life. So what I do in my consultations, I check your overall chart, and then I discover aspects that you can change, or aspects that you can kind of like try to improve or use on your favor. So you have a really like interesting chart actually, because the chart is divided in four. So it's like 12 houses, and each one represents something. Like one could be like family, one could be kind of like relationships, another one could be like love, health, wealth, etc. So depending on these placements that you have, you can realize whether you are going to be a successful person, whether you're going to be more creative, whether you're going to be, I don't know, like an artist, etc. So it's super interesting, especially for those that they don't know exactly what their purpose is, or like what's my mission of life, or like you are questioning about yourself. It's really interesting sometimes to go back to your chart and be like, okay, these are your strengths, these are your like negative aspects, and this is like what you can utilize for yourself. So when I'm gonna do yours, let me just open my notes quickly. So
So
as I said,
I was going to say, just for the listeners' sake, yesterday I sent Dalila my date of birth, my time of birth, and the location as well. And that's how she was able to take a snapshot of the stars in the sky on that day.
exactly. So it's very important to know the location and also the time, because the time of your birth will tell you what ascendant you are. And the ascendant is almost like kind of like a complement of your sun sign, because it will guide you towards where you need to go, what aspects of your personality you need to develop, etc. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure if you had your chart done before or not.
Never, never.
Oh, so it's interesting. So your song is in Sagittarius, like your main kind of like date of birth. And Sagittarius is a very strong sign. It's like it's you are always like passionate about your life. You are very like goal oriented. You like to like seek for like opportunities and like never like deceive along the way. So that makes you a very resilient person, and also like a very kind of like strong to kind of like find your goals and like fight for what you believe. So I'm not surprised that you want to study like law, because this is like very connected. Like Sagittarius is always like a fighter. It's like always fighting for the rights of others. However, because you have your ascendant in Gemini, it's so interesting, because part of your personality is like, okay, I'm gonna achieve this, I'm gonna go towards that goal. But because you have your ascendant in Gemini, Gemini is an air sign. And what does it mean is like sometimes you can get like dispersed along the way. So for example, one day you are like super motivated, okay, I'm gonna do this, and this. And because you have that ascendant Gemini like around, you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that, or I shouldn't do this. Sometimes you question yourself, or you can change your mind easily. Like for example, like it could give you a little bit of indecision in certain way, because it's like, oh, maybe I don't know, like I take this way, oh actually no, I'm gonna do this other one. Oh, like even like when choosing things, so it's you feel quite a contradiction, because part of you is like, no, I need to push for this, I need to achieve that. But then your Gemini is like more like floating, it's like the twins in astrology. So that's why like one of the twins can say something and the other one can say another one. So sometimes you will have all these like thoughts in your mind, like going on and on of like what you should do, which way you should take, etc., because you will have all that air energy moving you forward. So I'm not sure if it resonates with you or not. Obviously I just met you today, but it's so interesting how you can kind of like picture the personality of somebody through their chart.
Yeah, no, you have described me spot on. And I like, so I'm born on the 20th of December, and I know that Capricorn starts on the 21st of December. So although like I know that I've got qualities of Sagittarius, I thought that I was not a true Sagittarius, but I've got all these other things going on, all these other
It's a
decisions.
Caspi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Caspi. So that's what it's called in astrology. It's like when one sign is finishing and the other one is coming, you have like kind of like both. But when you check, it's so funny, because when you check your chart, you have three, three placements in Capricorn. So you have a lot of that Capricorn energy, which I'm going to explain in more detail. And then Sagittarius, you have one, 2, 3 placements in Sagittarius.
Right.
So it's like a balance. You have like half of your chart is in Sagittarius, half of your other chart is in Capricorn, and the rest is between Scorpio. So you have Venus in Scorpio, which I'm going to explain, but like, and you have Pluto in Scorpio. So from when you see your chart, when I'm going to send it to you, you will see that you have like majority of Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Scorpio. And then you don't have any of like Cancer, or like, you know, like you don't have any of Aquarius or Pisces, etc. And what happens is like probably you will attract relationships in your life from those signs, because whatever you attract. So if you think of your best friends or people that come into your life, or like, I'm not sure if you are in a love relationship, they tend to be the opposite of us. So I wouldn't be surprised if you attract into your life like a Cancer, for example, or if you attract like Aquarius, or if you attract like Pisces, because you don't have any of this energy on your chart. So it will be like an opposite of you, which is very, very interesting. Yeah.
No, it's funny that you say that because you've described me so well, and the Sagittarius in me, and then with the Gemini aspect,
Yeah.
it used to be I think a bad trait of mine. I would make a decision and then doubt myself. But yeah, it used to really get me down. But now I'm a little bit older. Um,
Yeah.
I have become more confident in my decisions. I know ultimately what I want to do. And I know
Yeah.
that this Gemini aspect of myself now that you've told me
Yeah.
is kind of like weighing up the pros and cons of this passionate decision that I've made
Yeah.
as a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
And yeah, by you explaining that to me, it does
It
give me
makes
a lot
sense.
of yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. And I think that now, knowing this, I will know why I'm making these decisions. And it's actually a bit of a relief knowing this.
Yeah.
It takes like a weight off of your shoulder to know why that you why the
Exactly.
person makes these
It's
decisions.
totally normal. Sometimes like it's like, oh, why I'm like indecisive, or why I'm more like anxious sometimes, or why I'm so perfectionist in a way. And sometimes it's all related to this. But it's like because it's the ascendant, like the your core is in Sagittarius, but your ascendant is the Gemini. So the ascendant is like something that through our life we need to start improving, we need to start learning, we need to start kind of like incorporating. So it's also the good side of that Gemini is like it's very creative, as you were saying, because like when you are air, you are always like floating, you have all these qualities of air personality within you, which is really interesting because it means that you can just kind of like be more like explorer, like, you know, like explore different ways, like be more like kind of like floating, rather than the Capricorn, for example, is more stable. And then you have other kind of like placements on your chart that are in Capricorn that could be trying to get you more stability. But then your Gemini is like, oh no, actually maybe I want to buy a house, build a future, etc. And your Gemini is like, I want to travel, I want to explore new places, I want to move jobs, I want to change, because it's a constant change what you need to have. Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of like go through where also, not only that, you have your moon in Gemini as well. So it's really interesting because the moon in astrology is how we kind of like attract the relationships, like more into like friendships and romantic as well. And like when you are like a moon in Gemini, you are like in your relationship, especially, you are very kind of like I don't know, you don't like to be tied up, you know, you like somebody to that you feel free, that you feel that you can grow together, that you can kind of like evolve and understand your mind and your thoughts. So it's really nice in that way. And also in your friendships as well, you tend to attract people that love traveling, love culture. They are very kind of like explore it in that side, because you don't like to be like in a cage,
Mm.
when you have that personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for example, it could also be like if you are in a relationship, you could be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna marry this person, be forever all my life. And then other part of you is like, actually I'm gonna run. I don't want like this like super serious, or like you kind of like contradict yourself, because in sometimes you want something very serious and stable, and the other side is like, no, like this is like blocking my goals and my where I want to go, etc. So that's something that Geminis need to work on, especially in your moon.
Yeah, so it sounds like a person that is constantly contradicting themselves would need a bit of help in resolving that, and able to, when it comes to a relationship point of view anyway, it
Yeah.
doesn't sound too healthy to be contradicting yourself. And I imagine it would put the other person in the relationship a little bit off guard, not knowing exactly what's going to happen next. Unless they liked that about you, but I, for one, have not found that person yet. So do you like, would you give advice to anybody who has this contradictory trait of them?
I think what I because this is more related to relationships and like more kind of like friendship, etc. I always recommend to first like write down what you actually want, because like I think the Gemini could be in your favor or it could also be against you. So for example, if you want like a proper relationship, you want more stability, etc., then you need to kind of like write down all these goals, like what you want in the other person, what you want in your other half, and like be genuine with yourself. Because if that's what you really want, you have to kind of like align yourself towards that, rather than then like every placement has this good aspect and the bad aspect. So a bad aspect of Gemini could be like going on like 100 dates, for example, and then not actually like committing to anything, just like constant dating, constant like movement, but without actually giving the opportunity to somebody to like
Right.
develop or like grow, etc. It's like, oh no, I don't like this next, because it's like floating. It's like trying to catch the air. You cannot. So that's why in sometimes it could play on your favor. For example, if you want to, if you are more like an explorer, or if you want to like use it for like your career and things like that. But sometimes it complains against you when you really want to manifest like a proper relationship, more stability, because that will, like, you will always have that little kind of like twin in your mind being like, no, this is not for me, maybe this is, I'm not ready yet, etc. So normally people with moon in Gemini, you tend to attract the opposite. So I would recommend, because to look for somebody with earth. So it could be a Capricorn person, it could be a Taurus as well, because they are more like grounded, they are more stable. So it will be like a really good balance in that way.
Excellent. And just on the relationship side again, do you advise people from certain what am I describing this as? Like,
Placements or sign.
yeah, yeah, to do like to find somebody through just naturally, organically, or do you recommend like dating apps, or what's your view on that?
Well, I mean, I always like say like whatever is for you will find its way, and I'm a very kind of like a believer of this principle. I mean, I have nothing against like dating apps, and I know so many people that they have found their like loved ones through dating app. But I think sometimes it's like the universe, or like the law of attraction. I don't know, whatever you believe. I believe in the universe and energy. When somebody is for you, you will actually meet, whether it's through a friend or like a hobby, etc. So what I recommend is try to find people that are aligned to your hobbies. Try to find people that is aligned to your energy, and in order to find like a new person and a new relationship, you need to be almost kind of like fulfilled and like accomplished with yourself. And I know it sounds really hard, but sometimes we need to do the work in ourselves first in order to attract somebody that is at the same level. For example, if you are vibrating really low, you're gonna attract people that are not like ready for commitment, or they don't want a relationship, or they just want something sporadic or whatever, because you are vibrating on that same level. But when you start like raising your energy, looking after yourself, like growing your self-esteem, you are more have more chances of like attract the same energy. And because at the end, I believe we are all energy, we all vibrate. And for example, if you have a bad day, I'm not sure if it happens to you. You leave your house, oh, it's raining, it's so gray. Oh, you miss the bus. Then you miss the train. You go to work and you have a fight with your boss. And like the whole day is almost like a dominoes effect of like your day. So that happens in our relationship. That happens on every single aspect of our life. When we are not fully like happy with ourselves, or we have negative mentality or thoughts, etc., we are going to keep attracting this type of people, because they say we are like the sum up of like our closest relationship, our like 5 friends. I don't remember the quote exactly. So if you surround yourself with like, negative people, if you go to your work environment and it's all negative, or like your friends, etc., you are going to keep attracting more, because you are going to be vibrating very low.
Yeah, it links to what you said a little bit earlier about knowing what you want and writing down all the qualities in a person that you want. So
Yeah.
write down all those qualities, and then you have to, I suppose, become them in order to attract that.
Exactly. Because somebody, for example, say, oh, okay, I want somebody very wealthy. Okay, but are you wealthy yourself? Like, how are you able to provide to yourself? Or like, I want somebody who is very, I don't know, outgoing. Okay, but like, how do you find that within you as well? Because what happens is that, yes, the universe can bring you somebody maybe like super wealthy, but then it can remove it as well.
Yeah.
Because and then that's why you need to learn that lesson. So you see sometimes couple that they had everything, and then the person just goes, or they get divorced, and then you find that person like with nothing and having to reinvent themselves, because they were depending on the other half, or like different scenarios, not just financially but like emotionally, when somebody is more independent and the other person is more timid, and then suddenly they remove that person and you feel that the world is dying, is ending. It's because you need to find that independence in you as well, or that strength and that power. So I think I'm a true believer that in order to attract, like whatever you think and you bring into this world, you get even like more of that. So if you are always positive, like giving to others, you are going to attract that energy in every single aspect of your life. And if you are constantly negative, or like trying bad thoughts, or like not doing good, the karma or the energy will come to your side as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the being a positive person, that is a really important one to have number one on that list if you're looking for a positive person, because all these other things can come and go, like success can
Exactly.
come and go, wealth and riches can come and go. Uh,
Exactly. And another good aspect is like thinking like how I'm gonna feel when that person comes into my life. And this is super important, because when you start saying that, like you will see the qualities that you really value on that person. So for example, if you ask me, okay, what kind of person do you want? I can tell you, oh yeah, a list of this, this, and this. But then you ask me how that person is gonna feel, make you feel. Then for you, I don't know what it could be, but maybe you say like, I want to feel safe, I want to feel secure, I want to feel love, whatever it is. So you need to then those qualities try to find it in that person. You also have Venus in Scorpio, which is really nice. It's very passionate towards life, and like when you look for, particularly for relationship, you want somebody who is like very strong personality, like very active, like very passionate about life. Otherwise, you get bored so easily, because Scorpio is one of the most intense kind of like signs of the horoscope. So Venus is like the planet that controls our feminine energy. It controls like our more kind of like romantic relationships and how we express to the word. So people might think that you are more like mysterious, or you are more like kind of like hard to read, or like you like this kind of like more deep things of life. So it's a really nice like placement to have, because that makes you a more kind of like attractive, sexy woman. So it's a really, really nice placement.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and then finally, more or less, like just to like sum up, you have your Chiron in Leo. So this is like Chiron in the natal chart is what will help us find our purpose, and it's almost like this is the most part of like, I don't know, more kind of like deep of the chart, because it just shows you like where you need to head, what's your purpose, etc. So when you have your Chiron in Leo, maybe at some point of your life, or maybe in your childhood, I don't know, you need to kind of like go deep and check where this wound created in your life. But maybe at some point of your life, you felt that you were not enough, or you had so much like criticism, maybe from like your parents or a family member, or you felt that you needed to kind of like, put yourself forward, because you were like, I don't know, like not bully, but like you felt like completely like a little bit like intimidated in some ways. So that's very interesting, because that could have created your Chiron in Leo. So that's something that you need to work. And this is what I combine with the psychology side, because I help my clients identify where that wound came from, how you can heal it, and like and take it like to the next level. So I put some of your you maybe this in your childhood, I would send the notes to you, but maybe you try to express yourself in a creative way, and then you felt undermined either by your parents or society. If you wanted to express something, your talents or being creative, and you felt that you were not recognized, or you were not enough, that's your wound. So you try to do so many things because you feel like it's not enough just being yourself or just showing your talent. So I know this is like a little bit more hard and like deep to go in and to dive in, but we can discuss that separately in private. Yeah, to give you an example for mine, which is super interesting, like mine is Chiron is in my Chiron is in Gemini, and like Chiron in Gemini is all about the communication. So it's like having an accent, for example, or so because I grew up between Spain and South America, etc. My parents were moving all the time. So when I was going to Venezuela, because they don't speak with the set in Spanish, all my school friends and like like the kids, etc., were laughing at my accent. And then when I was going to Spain, because I got the Venezuelan accent, everyone was laughing at me because I was talking differently. And that created my wound. And it's so interesting. Then I lived in China for a year. I didn't know the language, so I had an accent. Then I moved to the UK. I've been here for a long time, yet I still have an accent. But like this communication wound got to the point that I was embarrassed to talk in public, because I was scared people laughing at me, or even talking in English like how we are talking now, because I had that wound. So it's so interesting how you can then use it on your favor, or you can use it against you. But like what I try to do is I motivate my clients to overcome that and use it as their favor. Yeah.
I love that. Like, I mean, we'd talk more about your previous career in PR, but so for somebody that sounds like it's a communication wound to then go and start a communication company, it's just
Exactly.
like, you go, girl. Um,
Exactly. Yeah. Like I actually, my degree is in journalism, which is so funny. I studied journalism and psychology to combine both. And then how then I've been in communications and talking all my life, because that was my womb. So I think in your case, because it's more about like feeling that you are enough, etc., that's why you are empowering other people, like through either law school or through your podcast, because you feel that need to empower others.
yeah.
So it's really interesting. Sometimes when you use that wound to help others, you also help yourself. No filter. So I put in some of like you're positive and how you can channel this energy. You have the power to realize how special you are. You just need to find your talent and express it freely to the world. You need to work through trauma, find it and grow it, like kind of like heal from that. And then I put in my notes a lot of creativity and a strong intuition. You know things even before it happen. You are like really good at like predicting things and like being connected with yourself. But sometimes maybe you don't pay 100% attention in your intuition, even though your intuition is guiding you towards things that what you should do or not. So that's something that you should put more attention going forward. Like trust your intuition and be able to open this to be able to help others and also find your own way. So I think it's really interesting. Then in the negative aspects, maybe at some point of your life is more or less what we were talking. You maybe felt that you were not talented enough, that you were not able to go through things the same way than others. At some point, you could even like put like a shield to protect yourself, to be like sensitive to criticism, because that was a way for you to kind of like protect yourself. And then so I think the key is to you need to feel that you don't always need to prove your worth, and that will be my advice to you based on your chart. Yeah, you always feel that you need to prove yourself, so you need to kind of like start working on that. No filter. Do kind of like coaching appointments after. I say, okay, like for example, now that we understand where is this coming from, how you can heal it, etc. I also do something called, which is very exciting, it's called Solar Revolution, which is how your year is going to look like. So depending on your chart, I will be able to tell you, okay, like if you spend your birthday in London, this is the energy that you're going to have available for that year. So it's very interesting. I also do that. For example, for mine this year, you can also plan ahead. Like, so for example, if your birthday is in July, like mine, and I was thinking, okay, shall I spend it in London or shall I spend it back home in Spain or whatever? I can also check the placements of like, let's say 3 different cities and tell you where is the best city for you to actually spend your birthday, depending on what you want to attract for that year. So it's super interesting. I mean, I really recommend it to everyone, because let's say you want to like have a new job, or you want to start a new career, or like a relationship, etc. Depending on where you are, the energy works in your favor or not. So it's super interesting.
It's amazing. I mean, I imagine that you get a lot of people at Christmas time wanting to know which relatives to stay with in order to avoid arguments.
Exactly.
But no,
Yeah.
that's incredible work that you do. So, as well as astrology readings, as I said, you're
Yeah.
also a manifesting coach.
Yeah.
What exactly is manifesting for people who don't know? How does it work, and why should we do it?
So basically, the technique that I follow is called astro manifesting, which is utilizing the energy, the astrological energy, to manifest or bring things into your life. So manifest is just basically putting things into reality. Is it works with the law of attraction. So whatever you put out there, you receive, and actually make it happen. But it could be as simple as like manifesting a parking space, for example, or something more like manifesting a new job opportunity or work, etc. So this comes from the principle that the universe, the energy is abundant for all of us, and depending on how we work on this energy, we receive and we give. So I would say astro manifesting is that. It's like utilizing the placements astrologically to start incorporating and bringing things into your life. So for example, if I want to buy a house, I check the astrological placements. If it's not a good time, I might not be able to have that or to manifest that. So that's why it's so important to have that correlation. And that's what I do on my coaching.
Excellent. So how does a person align their astrological positioning with their goals to cultivate the best versions of themselves?
So I check first the natal chart, and then you can also see, for example, like Venus, where it's located. So if you want to attract, for example, like a new relationship, I will check your moon and your Venus. If you want to attract, for example, like a new job opportunity, I will check your Mars. If you want to attract more money, more wealth, I will check your Jupiter. So I will check what's going on there, because some people might be, for example, like attract wealth really easily, whilst other people will be like struggling because it's not in their chart. So the people that might struggle because of the placement, you need to be like, okay, what can I do to work on that? And what limiting belief do I have regarding money, regarding wealth, etc.? Or some people can attract like love relationships like really easily, or their soulmate, etc., but then they are struggling to find like a nice job or like a purpose that they really enjoy. Or other people, they know what they want in their career, what they want in their life, but then they cannot find a partner. So it's very interesting how by combining these alignments you can get to like improve yourself and improve your life.
So, would you say that everybody has a destiny, but they can change their destiny if they know how to do it?
I think so. I believe that you create your own destiny. So you can have your chart and your like kind of like life purpose based on your natal chart, the time that you were born, etc. However, I'm a true believer that you create your future in your present. So every decision that we make, whether it's like waking up and going to the gym or not, or like being with this person or not, will create a path that we need to navigate. And I think there is no mistake. There is no like a key magic to navigate this life. But it's really interesting in that perspective, like where do you feel comfortable? What do you really want to do? And is this decision my own decision or somebody else? Because that's what I see a lot of my consultations. People are like, oh, I think this is my path, this is my future, this is my destiny, etc. But then when you start going and removing layers and doing more work, etc., you realize that maybe that was their parents' dream and not necessarily their dream, or society like kind of like inconvenience, or like people not really like trusting you. So I think everyone has a purpose. It's just our own work to identify it and like grow for that, and like kind of like work on developing in if that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's fascinating, really
Yeah,
fascinating
I
stuff.
find it super interesting. I mean, I'm not sure because it's just me, but like I think there are infinite possibilities. And for example, in South America, where I come from, like I studied the whole Mayan civilization and the Mayan calendar and like astrology in like in South America and like Mexico, etc. And for example, they wanted to attack another empire. They were checking where Jupiter was in the sky, where the sun was, etc., because that will give you more energy to go and attack, like conquer other places. Or for example, like during like harvest moon, or like during full moon, you are meant to, the energy is so strong. So I recommend people to try to do yoga, meditation, things like that, to bring the energy down, because during full moon we are so like high in terms of like energy, that we need to avoid problems, try to avoid like conflict, etc. During new moon, I recommend people to have like a cleanse, for example. It's a good time to set up your goals, journaling, clean your house, do like with the stick as well around the corners, just to renew the energy. So you can kind of like live very aligned towards the moon phases, and the whole process. When we live in like countries like the UK, for example, that we are in a constant like rush, like we don't pay attention on like, okay, how is my body feeling, how is my energy, I'm vibrating low, I'm vibrating high, like what moon it is, like all these very basics, even like from a female perspective, like our periods, our like kind of like feminine energy, all this is connected to the moon so badly. That's why when you spend time with one of your best friends or like too many women together, that's why even the periods, you know, can align, because it's normally around full moon, for example, or like there are so many things that we don't pay attention that is connected directly to the energy.
And you also mentioned meditating a little bit. So before we discuss your manifesting app, which I'm dying to
Yeah.
know more about, do you have a regular meditating practice, and what does meditating mean to you? Because I know there's so many different ways you can meditate, whether that be with listening to somebody do a reading or whether you're just focusing on nothing at all. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so to be honest, I sometimes I find it myself like really hard to meditate, just mainly because I think I have ADHD on their nose, and also I'm very like strong energy. I have to do like 10 things at a time. So sometimes I find it like really hard to just like sit down and like think on my day, etc., which I think is really sad. However, what I do is I put reminders sometimes on my phone throughout the day, like breathe, or like check your posture, or see what type of energy are you feeling, because it's so interesting. Even like, you know, I said check your posture, we were both like this, you know, it's like just like that. Or like breathe, like sometimes we are like we don't pay attention because we are constantly like um constantly doing something and in a rush that we don't pay attention like how I'm feeling, etc. So I tend to put these reminders in my phone to like create your wellness meditating plan for the day, and just put like, yeah, like alarms. It's like make sure to breathe, make sure to drink water, make sure to check on yourself. And if you have like 5 minutes throughout the day, for example, for me, when I walk my dog, it's really good time to just like reflect on like either what I want to achieve on the day or what I did do during the day and how that made me feel. That's a really good way to calm and like be more aligned. And also for people that don't have much time, but when you're doing your skincare routine or you're having a shower, just like pay like attention on the moment, you know, try to take that time for yourself, because that's such a good way also to meditate and to be more present. At the end, like meditation is just being more connected with ourselves. And for some people it could be enjoying like a really nice dinner, or it could be just having a tea, or actually sitting down with your thoughts. Exercise and movement has helped me quite a lot. So I do regular Pilates or yoga. So things like that, that you consciously have to kind of like take a time for yourself. So I think that will be my advice for people that struggle to meditate like me.
I think that that is such a perfect way of meditating. I I can really resonate with wanting to have time just with my own thoughts, but
Exactly.
not being able to sit down for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, just to, sit with my hands on my knees and just sit there because I never prioritize it. But I do things like my skincare routine and playing the
Exactly.
piano where I am just connected with my own thoughts, and it's really nice. It's so relaxing, and that for me
Exactly.
is meditating as well. So
Exactly. Because for some people, even for me, I find that like sometimes when I have so much thing, especially if you get anxiety, just being quiet and like constantly having these thoughts could be sometimes even more stressful than then taking action. So that's why it's like how you utilize this energy to play the piano, do your skincare, have a shower, go for a walk, etc. Like active meditation sometimes work better than actually being like so still that it will generate you more anxiety.
so tell me about your manifesting app. What is it and who is it for?
So the manifesting app is just like a complement of like myself and like what I wanted to do in terms of like helping people to live more aligned with their purpose. At the moment, the app is kind of like in the more kind of basic version, because I'm trying to grow it. When you are like a small entrepreneur like me, I have to be doing almost everything, like the PR, the marketing, the promotion for myself, like the consultations, etc. So that's something that I want to keep growing for this year and take the time to grow it, to have more features, etc. At the moment, is the basic version where you can have like a quote for the day, something more inspiring. You can put in as like your background for your phone, etc. But what I want in the future is to be able to make it more personalized and keep growing it. And on the side, I also have my website, themanifestingapp.com. So people can book consultations through there as well, or they can also like email me or WhatsApp if they want to have like a one-to-one session. Yeah.
So I'll put all of these details in the show notes. So when people do want to connect and contact you,
Amazing.
they'll
Yeah.
be
Or
able to
if they
do
just
that.
want to follow me on Instagram as well, it's like Dalila.Salgueiro. And I'm always sometimes like giving tips, or like, yeah, it's just a process of growing myself. And yeah.
So you've mentioned journaling during the course of our
Yeah.
conversation, and I know that this app also has manifesting tasks. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could just explain a little bit, like what is a manifesting task, and
Yeah.
how do you recommend, like, how would a person journal in order to help with their manifestations?
Yeah, so the manifesting tag, I have it in the app. So what is a quote and a manifesting task, but the manifesting tag varies. So one day could be write 5 things of things that you want to attract into your life, or the other day could be like describe 5 qualities that you love about yourself. The other day could be give an act of kindness to somebody, because all these things will help you to kind of like be more in tune with yourself, and also kind of like help others and grow more your more positive energy. Because the key is obviously, if we have a sad day, or like, it's good to go through our emotions, and nobody is saying like, oh, you always have to be positive, because that's not good. But it's how every single day we should try to incorporate something to help us manifest that. So, for example, if I want to manifest the love of my life, okay, maybe that day I spend 5 minutes writing the qualities of that person. And maybe the other day I do a list of like 5 places that I would like to visit and explore new. Because by doing new things, you can also start attracting that energy into your life. If you keep doing the same, you will keep attracting the same energy.
Excellent. And what about the journaling? How long should a person be journaling?
Yeah.
Is
So
it
the
a day?
journaling part, to be honest, it depends on the person and it depends on the time. I have some friends and clients that they love like writing a lot. For example, for me, I write like I have like a notebook, like a small notebook, or even in the app, and I write, oh, like how was my day, or like things that I'm very happy, or like whatever you challenge during the day, etc. Because it's really, sometimes we forget to recognize how we were to where we are. And I think with our mental health, with manifesting, etc., we need to be very conscious about that. So, for example, like when you go to the gym or you start a new diet, you take a before and after picture. You always take at the beginning and you always take at the end. So that's why it's important for me to like journaling, or like write your goals and write what you want to manifest, in order for you to be like accomplishing that goals. So for example, like if you write this week, what are my goals for my week, and you journal that, then maybe what I do is I write all my goals for the week on Sunday. Then on next Sunday I check, oh yes, I did this, I that, etc., how I felt. Then I write for the next week, etc. And then at the end of the month you do an overview, especially during the new moon, of like everything that you have been doing. And you are like, wow, look, January passed and I've been doing this, and this. I've been attracted this more energy or whatever. Then you check February. Oh, okay, in February I did this, and this, etc. Or no, actually I did nothing. Look how I feel. Why my energy is so low? What happened in my life that affect me, and how you can change that.
Really interesting. Thank you. So you've mentioned that you did journaling at university and you have a PR company as well. So can you just talk to us a little bit about your previous or current careers? Because I know you have a PR agency.
Yeah.
Um, why did you, what motivated you to create the manifesting app and website when you did? And how has your degree in journalism and career in PR helped you establish yourself as a manifesting coach and astrologer?
So that's a really good question. So in my PR, I've been doing PR for 15 years here in London. I did first my master's here in London, and then I started working. So during my 15-year career, I've been doing the PR for Lancome, for L'Oreal. After L'Oreal, I changed to Unilever. So I was working in an agency looking after Tony and Guy, Tresemme, Dove, and BO5. So we did the whole kind of like launch of like different products, like the launch of like VFL from Longcom as well. So I've been organizing all these PR events, all the events, the marketing, liaising with the journalists, etc. And then during COVID, I realized that I wanted to be more aligned with the wellness side. I wanted to be more aligned with my astrology and psychology like background, etc. And that's why I decided to combine my PR, which I still do. I have one of like I have a boutique PR agency focused mainly on like wellness, beauty, and lifestyle. And then on the side, I have my manifesting app, all the coaching, etc., which is like a good balance, because I think my PR is my day to day, and I feel so grateful. I've been working for like the most important like brands in the UK and internationally, and then the manifesting is like a combination of more like wellness and a holistic side. So I really like having both, and that's what motivates me, because I think sometimes we are so much into work that we forget about ourselves. We forget about like our goals and purpose beside from our work and day-to-day goals.
I think that's such a fantastic combination of work that you have. I mean, it probably just comes from me and my placement of, super passionate and career orientated with my Sagittarius and then my Gemini now that I know. But I love the fact that you've got like this corporate career in PR where you're working with like global brands like L'Oreal. And then this other business of yours, which is spiritually pushed. And I just think that combination must be so rewarding. You must have
Yeah.
such great job satisfaction.
Yeah, I think like the life of an entrepreneur, and obviously like a female founder, first not even able to speak even the same language, because I came to the UK like not knowing English, and then making my way up, learning a new language, doing the master, starting my first job, etc. It has been a long journey, but it's so rewarding when you don't set limits for yourself, when you push yourself to persevere for your goals and for your dreams. And that's something that I really wanted to people to experience as well, especially when you are young, when you don't know exactly where to go. I totally agree. It's really nice to have this support, and that's something that is natural in me because it's from my own experience, and that's why I like to share it with others, for them to learn from my journey. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're obviously doing incredibly well with both of your businesses. So how did you create brand recognition for your PR agency, first of all, and then also for the manifesting app as well? Was
Yeah.
it easier with the manifesting app after you had created a PR company, or were they both as challenging?
I
I'm
think it's a
assuming
little
you
bit
did.
challenging, because I think sometimes we still have the mentality that if you are a PR, then you cannot be a manifesting coach, you know? I think there is a little bit, old-fashioned mentality, not in the new generations, but in the older generation, that if you were a journalist, you are a journalist. If you are a lawyer, you are a lawyer. If you are a politician. So it didn't allow you to explore different like careers or concepts, etc. And I think now the new generations, especially Gen Z, in my team, they are mainly like Gen Z, and I find it fascinating because we have so many talents. We are complex as an individual, and it doesn't mean that you have to guide your path and your career in only one thing, because one time or during 5 years you maybe wanted to be traveling, and then that doesn't mean that then you cannot just be something else. I think our parents, and this comes from previous generations, where had more limiting belief that you start in a company and then you stay in the company until the day you retire. Send our grandparents, for example, and like that kind of like changing job, changing opportunities was not as easy as it is now. Even after COVID, I think this has changed even more, because we have working from home at the moment. Look how we are doing the interview through Zoom. It's like there are so many new tools to allow us to explore different topics. So I think that's the magic. Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge that you have been faced with as a business owner, and how did you overcome the challenge?
That's a really good question. I think there is like challenge every day, especially when you don't have budgets to like, sorry, to grow. So I think that's like the main key, to try to find a balance between your resources, your time, and what you want to achieve, and adapt your budgets based on that.
So with running two businesses, how do you maintain a healthy well-being as an entrepreneur that I can only imagine is always on the go?
Yeah. No, it's definitely like that. I think the key to maintain a good lifestyle is to have a routine. So I love taking my supplements. I love like walking my dogs. I like to have my skincare routine, shower. I mean, very little things that they don't take you so much time during the day, but also have a time for yourself. And there are times that I say, okay, I need to have this day off because I need it for my mental health, for my well-being, for try to cope with everything. So not be scared to take a time off when you actually need it, and make sure you have like a routine or like a set values of where you want to go, because you will have days that you feel so like down that you don't want to do anything, and you need to be your own motivator. You need to kind of wake up on the day and say, yes, you can do it. Always like remove those negative thoughts that you might have along the way. I've been experiencing, as I mentioned to you, a lot of like difficulties recently from a client that didn't want to pay me, etc., for my PR services. I had to go to court. So it has been very challenging when you have this along the way. But sometimes I'm a true believer that karma comes back. So whatever you give out to there come back. So I think that will be my advice. Stay tuned with how you feel like, and if you need to take time off or you need to say it's enough, make sure that you say no and you cultivate that as well. Because sometimes we try to do so many things that then we get lost along the way. So I think that's identifying those moments is very important as an entrepreneur.
So what is your top tip for being a successful entrepreneur?
Well, I think you have to be very resilient. I think resilience is something that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to have. If you don't have resilience and that strength, it will be quite hard to navigate being an entrepreneur because it's ups and downs. But I think it's not be too hard with yourself. Sometimes at this, I've been learning the hard way. I don't launch something or I don't show something because I'm scared of what others will say about it. Or like, if you have a new product or an idea or whatever it is that you want to focus on, don't be scared to put it out there, because sometimes we become so perfectionist about our own self that we are our own critics. And this is only not gonna take you anywhere if you're always like going behind the scenes, or like not be able to show your talent. So I think that will be one of my advice, like be less critic about yourself, and don't be scared to put whatever you want to do, offer it to the rest of the world.
Dalila, I am so incredibly thankful for the time, the date, and the location that you were born, and the person that you have become or are because of it. I think that you are a beautiful person inside and out, and what you have created in the world for yourself and other people is, I mean, I just think it is so extraordinary. You are killing it in life. You are clearly a wonderful, kind, friendly, warm person that only is giving the same thing out to the world. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming on the show and like showing us what an astrology reading looks like, and talking to us about manifesting and manifesting, sorry, and helping me and listeners achieve their goals, hopes, and aspirations. I mean, you're a phenomenal person, so thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I enjoy our session, and yeah, remember not to be too strong to yourself, and always persevere.
Thank you for that.